Now let's get a recap of what Moon Jae-in pledged during his time on the campaign trail, starting with the economy. It's one of the issues the public cares about most, especially in the face of Korea's soaring youth unemployment rate. Here's Kim Min-ji with a rundown of the new president's economic plans.
There are growing concerns that Korea may be heading toward a prolonged cycle of low growth. With the rising youth unemployment rate and record-high household debt, Korea is on track to posting growth in the 2% range for 3 years running. Korea's next leader believes he has the right prescription for the country's ailments.
사람에게 투자해 기업과 국가의 경쟁력을 살리는 사람 중심의 경제 성장 구조로 바꾸겠습니다.
What we mean by a people-centered economy is we will use resources to invest in the people. There's economic growth, but it's not felt by the general public. Income growth remains stagnant. So, by giving support to lower-income households and the self-employed, we'll hope to boost their livelihoods.
The first goal is to create 810,000 jobs in the public sector. With the youth jobless rate at a record high of 9.8% last year, much higher than the country's entire 3.7% unemployment rate, young people in particular are struggling.
Of the 810,000 jobs created, 170,000 will be civil servants, while some 300,000 will be devoted to converting irregular workers into salaried employees. The additional 340,000 will be created in conjunction with the private and social service sectors, for example, healthcare, safety, and education.
This is seen as a must, as consumption has been sluggish amid stagnant income growth and skyrocketing household debt, which stands at a record high of roughly $1.3 trillion. On top of this, the country has posted growth in the 0% range for 6 straight quarters, prompting Moon to promise to make good use of fiscal stimulus measures.
We plan to implement a supplementary budget and step up fiscal spending. International organizations like the OECD and IMF have said that Korea has enough room to execute fiscal policy measures. Despite a slight pickup in the first quarter, the recovery momentum isn't expected to continue into the second quarter, so we need the budget supplement to stay on track.
재벌 reform is also a priority. Although Moon is not expected to take a hard line, given that Korea's family-run corporations account for roughly half of the economy, he has vowed to limit their power by making better use of existing regulations and stepping up the role of the antitrust watchdog.
There will be stern punishments if they try to take advantage of their subcontractors or move in on small and medium-sized companies. They will have to work harder to make profits and find new ways to be competitive, and in this way will foster an innovative ecosystem.
In addition, a helping hand will be extended to companies and industries that are related to the so-called Fourth Industrial Revolution.
The government is not going to have all the say, but we believe it is right for it to lead in pursuit of new directions. We'll foster the necessary infrastructure, such as big data and 5G networks, so startups and other companies can both make a splash.
All of this is aimed at changing Korea's economic structure, which Moon says is outdated.
For too long, we've depended on exports and a trickle-down effect for growth. We need to take a two-track approach by creating more jobs and expanding people's spending power and let it work its way up. This is not something that happens overnight, though. We need to push through with strategies for the next decade or two.
With the economy in such a fragile state, Moon's policies will be aimed at changing Korea's economic architecture and cushioning any negative impact to help the country achieve sustainable growth. Kim Min-ji, Arirang News.